Howdy everyone, it's Reese aka Bearman Prime on this January 2nd for day 2 of our Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you for joining me if this is your first time, and thank you for joining me again if this is your second time. If you missed day 1, card in the top right hand corner here so you can check that out. I'll be saving these all in a playlist so you can just follow along and get caught up pretty quickly, I think. But we're going to move on today. So last time we talked about the very beginning of the Bible, the beginning of the story, creation of the universe and everything in it. And now we're going to go a little bit further. We're going to talk about God and its interaction with mankind and then the fall. And here's the key thought that I want you to keep in mind. Question that thought that I want you to keep in mind as we read this. Think back to, whenever you've seen, a tragic story on the news or something really bad happened to someone that you heard about. Inevitably, you've probably asked this question. I know I have. It's sometimes. You've asked the question, why would God allow this to happen? Why would God allow that good person to get such a horrible disease? Or why would God allow this terrible atrocity to happen? And people get wiped out or whatever, something like that. You've asked that question, I'm sure. So I want you to keep that in mind as we read this today, because the answer is right here, and it's probably not going to be what you think, okay? So today we're going to go to Genesis chapter 2, starting in verse 15, through chapter 3, verse 24. Starting chapter 2, verse 15. The Lord God put the man in the Garden of Eden to work the soil and take care of the garden. The Lord God gave him this command: You may eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree that gives knowledge about good and evil. If you eat fruit from that tree, on that day you will certainly die. Then the Lord God said, I see that it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make the companion he needs, one just right for him. The Lord God used dust from the ground and made every animal in the fields, every bird in the air. He brought all these animals to the man, and the man gave them all a name. The man gave names to all the tame animals, to all the birds in the air, and to all the wild animals. He saw many animals and birds, but he could not find a companion that was right for him. So the Lord God caused the man to sleep very deeply. While he was asleep, God took one of the ribs from the man's body. Then he closed the man's skin where the rib had been. The Lord God used the rib from the man to make a woman. Then he brought the woman to the man, and the man said, Finally, one like me with bones from my bones and a body from my body. She was taken out of a man, so I will call her woman. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife. In this way, two people become one. The man and his wife were naked, but they were not ashamed. Chapter 3. The snake was the most clever of all the wild animals that the Lord God had made. The snake, this being Satan actually, spoke to the woman and said, Woman, did God really tell you that you must not eat from any tree in the garden? The woman answered the snake, No, we can eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but there is one tree we must not eat from. God told us, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden. You must not even touch that tree, or you will die. But the snake said to the woman, You will not die. God knows that if you eat the fruit from that tree, you will learn about good and evil. Then you will be like God. The woman could see that the tree was beautiful, and the fruit looked so good to eat. She also liked the idea that it would make her wise. So she took some of the fruit from the tree and ate it. Her husband was there with her, so she gave him some of the fruit, and he ate it. Then it was as if their eyes opened, and they saw things differently. They saw that they were naked, so they got some fig leaves, sewed them together, and wore them for clothes. During the cool part of the day, the Lord God was walking in the garden. The man and the woman heard him, and they hid among the trees in the garden. The Lord God called to the man and said, Where are you? The man said, I heard you were walking in the garden, and I was afraid. I was naked, so I hid. God said to the man, "Who told you that you were naked? Did you eat fruit from that special tree? I told you not to eat from that tree." The man said, "The woman you put here with me gave me the fruit from that tree, so I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What have you done?" She said, "The snake tricked me, so I ate the fruit." So the Lord God said to the snake, "You did this very bad thing, so bad things will happen to you. It will be worse for you than for any other animal. You must crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. I will make you and the woman enemies to each other. Your children and her children will be enemies. You will bite her child's foot, but he will crush your head." Then God said to the woman, "I will cause you to have much trouble when you are pregnant, and when you give birth to children, you will have much pain. You will want your husband very much, but he will rule over you." Then God said to the man, "I commanded you not to eat from that tree, but you listened to your wife and ate from it. So I will curse the ground because of you. You will have to work hard all your life for the food the ground produces. The ground will grow thorns and weeds for you. You will have to eat the plants that grow wild in the fields. You will work hard for your food until your face is covered with sweat. You will work hard until the day you die, and then you will become dust again. I use dust to make you, and when you die, you will become dust again." Adam, the first man, named his wife Eve. He gave her this name because Eve would be the mother of everyone who ever lived. The Lord God used animal skins and made some clothes for the man and his wife. Then he put the clothes on them. The Lord God said, "Look, the man has become like us. He knows about good and evil. And now the man might take the fruit from the tree of life. The man eats that fruit, he will live forever." So the Lord God forced the man out of the Garden of Eden to work the ground he was made from. God forced the man to leave the garden. Then he put cherub angels and a sword of fire at the entrance to the garden to protect it. The sword flashed around and around, guarding the way to the tree of life. There's a lot there. So let's start from the beginning there. So God created man. Everything was good. Everything was perfect. God only had one rule for the man, for mankind. You could eat anything you wanted, any fruit you wanted, except for the fruit from that one tree, from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That was the one rule. Everything else was what they would never go hungry, they would never die, they would never get sick. Everything would be perfect as long as they followed that one rule. Okay? So then after that, we see the snake. Now, again, like I said, the snake is actually Satan disguised as the serpent. Okay? And here, Satan uses a lie to trick Eve, and it's the same tactic that he uses today. He's been using this for thousands of years, and it's the same lie that he tells us. And you've probably heard this lie. You've probably told yourself this lie before. It's God doesn't care about you. God doesn't want you to be happy. God won't give you what you need. Okay? That's the lie. That's basically the lie that he told Eve was, God's withholding this from you because he doesn't want you to be like him. He doesn't love you enough, which is totally not true. Okay? God loved them so much. He didn't want them to begin defining good and evil on their own terms. He is the perfect judge. And so it was up to him to define good and evil because the perfect judge. So when Adam and Eve ate the fruit from the knowledge of good and evil, now they begin defining good and evil on their own terms. And they introduced sin into the world. They defied God. They broke God's rules. So that's what's happening here. Then after that, God cursed not only Satan, but cursed the earth and cursed mankind to, women would have painful childbirth, men would have to, work super hard and would return to dust when they died, all of that. So we were cursed because of our sin. So there's your answer to the question. Why would God allow such horrible things in this world to happen? The answer is he didn't. God created a perfect world. We messed it up. You messed it up. I messed it up. Mankind messed it up when we sinned against God. We introduced sin and darkness into the world. So the reason the world is so broken like it is today is because we messed it up. And so there's nothing we can do about that. It's up to God now. Anyway, so that doesn't mean that God has left us, though. He's still taking care of us in his own way, in his own time. So we'll be touching on that a lot more as we go through this series. So thank you all for joining me once again, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out. God bless. Thank you.